Hello, welcome to what would have been day 14 of the Betfred World Snooker Championship. Yesterday, we brought you the exclusive news that Peter Ebdon is retiring from the game through injury. Tonight, we've got another exclusive for you on our YouTube and Facebook channels at 7 o'clock tonight. We have an exclusive sit-down interview with three-time World Snooker Champion, Mark Selby.
I used to love watching Jimmy White playing his banana shots, and every time he'd won the frame, playing all the flare shots, a little bit like Judd Trump today. But as far as just an out-and-out snooker playing will to win and records and stuff, it was Stephen Hendry. I used to watch him and just think he was unbelievable. Every single tournament, just winning time and time again, and never used to lose the hunger, you know. I mean, obviously winning all them tournaments, he could have retired a lot earlier than what he did because he'd achieved everything in the game more than once. But he wanted to do it all again, and that's something I really inspired me in watching Stephen Hendry.
I mean, you've won 3 world titles, which is phenomenal as well. Would you put Hendry up there as the greatest ever player?
It's difficult to say. I mean, he's definitely obviously in the top 2. But just looking at today's standard, I think today's standard is as hard as it's ever been, not just because I'm playing in today's standard. I just think there's people like outside the top 32 who are challenging, getting to semi-finals, getting to finals of tournaments. And you've got no easy matches no more. I mean, every first round game, you're looking at top players. Sometimes the seeds are going out in these home nations. It's an open draw. A lot of players are losing to the lower ranked players. And it's no shocks anymore. But even for the media, they don't see it as a shock because the standard's so tough. And you look at somebody like OSullivan, still playing at the top of the game, 43 years old, still winning tournaments in this level and doing it for that long. I'd have to put him as the greatest ever for me. I know people go on records, but eras change as well. So, obviously, Hendry would definitely be up there, but for me, it'd have to be OSullivan followed by Hendry.
Did that make your first World Championship win more special then, because you beat Ronnie OSullivan in 2014?
Most definitely, yeah. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong. People prefer it when Ronnie's not in the tournament because they see it as a little bit easier. It's never always easy, but people look at the tournament, see Ronnie not in it, and they think, oh, we've got more of a chance. But for me, I'm completely the opposite. I'd rather him be in the tournament, whether he's in the same half or not. If you go on and win a tournament and you know Ronnie was in the tournament, then you know you've done something right. And I always told myself if I was to become world champion one day, if I could predict who I wanted to play in the final and predict that I could come out on the winning side, it'd definitely be OSullivan in the final. And that's what happened.
And when you played Ronnie in 2014, you had a really tough semi-final, didn't you, against Neil Robertson? That was a mammoth semi-final. Ronnie had breezed through his quarter-final, hadn't he? Won with a session to spare. Yeah. Breezed through his semi, won with a session to spare. You were the underdog as well. And overnight, you were 10-7 down, weren't you? At one point, you were 10-5 down as well. So did you always think you could beat Ronnie in that final?
Yeah, I mean, I've always believed no matter what the score, it's something my father installed into me when I was a young kid. He always said to me, look, no matter what the score or no matter how far you're behind, never give in until that last ball's potted. He says, because snooker's one of them games where so many different things can happen on a table that you need to sort of be focused and ready to pounce if things do go wrong, even if it looks like your opponent's going to win the match. He says, just a little list of things like a kick or a miscue, anything like that could happen. So you never give in until that last ball potted and you're shaking hands. And to be fair, having lost my father when he was 16, just when I turned pro, that's always stayed with me. It's always something I've always remembered him telling me. So in that final, even though I was so far behind, I thought to myself, look, who knows, I may never get to a final again. So there's no way in the world I'm just going to lay down and just let Ronnie walk all over me and go on and win it. So I thought, at least, even if I don't win it, I'm going to go down fighting.
So, yeah, look out for that interview with Mark Selby tonight on our Facebook and YouTube channels. We've also got an extended interview with Peter Ebdon as well. He told me exclusive yesterday. That was it. He was hanging up his cue through injury. Of course, Peter won the title in 2002. And plenty of people have come out today and paid tribute to Peter, including the 2005 champion, Shaun Murphy.
Peter Ebdon was such an influential character in the area I grew up in. He was Mr. Snooker, certainly in Northants when he turned pro in the early 90s. So at 1992, as a 9-year-old, we all schlepped up the M1 to go and watch him make his debut against Steve Davis, where he peppered Davis 10-4. Now, I had a poster of Steve Davis on my wall at that age, and I was like over the moon for the local guy who beat Steve Davis. But on the other hand, was in tears that my idol had lost. And it was something, obviously, when Peter announced his retirement there, I rang Peter and sort of told him the story, and we had a good laugh about it. And it's been an honour to become one of Peter's friends over the years, because at that age he was someone I looked up to as a real inspirational figure. He was the local pro playing at the Crucible on the tour. He epitomised what I wanted to be. And so I used to ring him all the time, practiced with him as much as I could. And I must now, pay tribute to him and say thank you for that, because he really gave me a lot of time and experience. Even sometimes when he didn't know it, even just the way he was, the way he carried himself, all of that information was going in. And a very great career. And I wish him all the best in anything he goes into in the future.
And look out for the Shaun Murphy interview over the coming days. We've still got plenty more content for you, including an interview with a 1997 champion, Ken Doherty, who also wanted to praise Peter Ebdon on the big news yesterday that he's retired from this fabulous game.
I was very sad to hear that news, because I've known Peter since, probably since we were 16, I think, playing in juniors and amateur tournaments around Britain. But yeah, I mean, the buzz that I'm sure he told you yesterday, the buzz of coming out through those curtains, down the steps, and the crowd, giving you a cheer. There's nothing like it in the world. And to come out the other side holding the trophy is probably, the highlight for any snooker player who's achieved that.
That's it for today, but loads more snooker content coming up over the next few days. We've got that exclusive interview with Ken Doherty. We've also got an interview as well with Shaun Murphy as well. Both, of course, won the world title. Well, that's it for today. Stay in and stay safe.